Some people develop one type of obsessive symptom but others develop multiple types of obsessive symptoms at the same time. It is like having multiple opened up weak lids. Depending on the situations they are in, their anxiety and fear, the root causes of their problems, manifest in diverse types of obsessive symptoms. For example, there can be a person who cannot sleep because he is afraid of dying while sleeping. This person also jumps in and out of bed to check the door and the gas valve. There also can be a person who repeatedly washes herself who also walks back and forth. These people have multiple obsessive symptoms including uncontrollable physical reactions and repetitive thoughts of hurting other people. A person who used to shake, bite, and smell his hands when he was young can grow up to be a person with obsessive thoughts who constantly scratch wounds. Obsessive symptoms can change the way they manifest as time goes by. In most cases, people's fundamental anxiety is created through their interaction with their parents from childhood to adolescence. I will give you an example of a person who was physically abused by his father. He had no other choice but to depend on and accept his father. There are many different types of psychological structure, but when a person is forced to have ambivalent feelings toward an object, such as loving and hating at the same time, as opposed to having consistent feelings like being angry and hating at the same time, the resulting inconsistency tends to trigger neurotic anxiety. A person who is anxious about not being able to meet the expectation of her turned parents is likely to fail in forming friendly relationships with her peers in adolescence. If she fails to form close relationships outside the family or to achieve success such as academic excellence her parents have been expecting her to achieve, she is likely to become even more anxious. This is because by failing in such things, she experiences the failures she has been afraid of. A person who thinks that her mother is gentle but who cannot agree with her parenting style can become anxious because she is caught between her contradicting feelings. Another example can be a person who identifies with his mother's anxiety caused by his father. There can be a myriad of problems related to close relationships. There are the fear of being abandoned because of sudden negative events happening, the fear of facing unexpected violence as well as the fear of parents taking away one's autonomy. People who are afraid of such things are likely to have anxiety inside their minds they do not know. If a person is feeling overwhelmingly anxious, we have to start from dividing his anxious feelings. We have to track the grains of his anxiety, as obsessive symptoms have a tendency to differentiate in accordance with such grains. It is about recalling the thoughts related to the patient's anxiety and connecting them with emotions. Below are the exemplary thoughts of a person who has been having hard time living his everyday life. The thought, "I might die," is connected with fear. The thought, "I have to go see a doctor," is related with the sense wanting to be secure. "Oh, how come I forgot to lock the door again?" go hand in hand with the sense feeling pathetic. The thought, "I will die if a fire breaks out," is again connected with fear. I have seen my patients physically reacting to the emotions they recollected during their sessions with me. In such cases, I had to help them relieve their emotions physically. Actually, we all need to deal with our emotions physically. It is an instinctive and animal-like way to take care of our emotions. The fact that my patients had to express their emotions physically reinforced my belief that suppressed and hidden emotions are the causes of obsessive symptoms. Once I helped a patient express emotions connected to pity and hopelessness. By doing so, he remembered the situation related to economic condition his family was in. When I dug deeper into that emotion, he remembered the fear caused by his father. He had to pretend to be asleep due to that fear. Every night, he was frozen with the fear so much that he could not go to the bathroom. The emotions he couldn't release in the past physically manifested one by one. We took time so that he could deal with all of them. Physical release requires time and patience. After that, I was able to remove his obsessive thoughts including the ones related to dirtiness. Then, I worked on to make him understand the symbols related to his parents that he had inside his mind. He managed to re-symbolize the remainder of his suppressed emotions by analyzing the concept of masculinity he had through an archetype analysis. By doing so, he took control of his symptoms gradually. To move on from the life of obsession to the life with safety, a patient has to feel the emotions that can calm her mind. By doing so, she will be able to secure the sense of safety and competency, offset the fear and anxiety she has been feeling and make assessments of priorities using the power created by such emotions and finally divert her attention from obsessions. We need to understand the vicious circle of OCD. When using a microphone, we often hear scratching noises from an amplifier. This is because a virtuous circle that should be in place is not functioning properly. This is because a vicious circle is at work. When we speak into a microphone, our voices get amplified and come out as an output. In a properly functioning virtuous cycle, this should be the end of the process. However, when the amplified output is entered into the microphone again, the cycle that indefinitely amplifies our voices is created. This is the reason why an error, the scratching noise, is produced. I explained earlier that a person with OCD has a constantly stimulated circuit in a certain part of his brain. It is his vicious circle at work. We can think of it as a process where an input, it will be a big trouble if it happens, gets indefinitely amplified, making him unable to move on and do something else. Reviving the emotions he should have felt helps break this vicious circle. People with properly working emotional pathways can easily change. It is because emotions create hormones which trigger changes. Hormones convert short-term memories into long-term ones and make subconscious minds to accept them as important things. Emotions are required for this process. However, OCD patients are frozen, overwhelmed by certain types of fear. This is the reason why they need to relieve the frozen emotions inside their minds one by one. In this case study, I talked about connecting thoughts and emotions. As mentioned earlier, if we consider our thoughts as needles, our emotions are strings. We need both of them to mend the points of obsession which have been creating faulty outlets. Ordinary OCD treatments involve suppressing symptoms and hiding emotions. When emotions are completely suppressed, symptoms will momentarily disappear and patients will feel better. However, when they fall back into the situation they were in, their symptoms will relapse. They will end up feeling worse pain and despair. If they continuously suffer from uncontrollable and unpredictable symptoms, they might end up becoming depressed and lethargic. I believe that the treatments that urge OCD patients to suppress and hide their emotions should be stopped. What they need is the treatment which helps them to reveal their secrets and understand the truth. The truth has power. I will say it again, they will fear no more when the truth is revealed. They have been feeling anxious because they have been keeping secrets and believed wrong things.